ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ। ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਇੱਕ ਓਮਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ। भूल छिमो हमरी परवापन भूलनहार कहाँ को मोसी कमाले करामात कायम करीम रजा बख्श राज रिहा को रहीम। अमा बख्शो बख्शन देओ दस्तगीर रजा बख्श रोजी देहो दिल पजीर। शहनशाह खूबी देओ रहनमू के बेगूनो बेचूनो चूबे नमू। न साजो न बाजो न फौजो न फर्श खुदावंद बख्शन दे शर्श। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। These are the words of the Zafarnama by Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, letter of victory written to Aurangzeb, the preamble to the letter. Today we are here to explore the relevance of Guru. Who is Guru? What is the role of Guru? And do we need a Guru? Because these are questions which are posed in today's society. So we try and understand Guru, his role, and do we need a Guru? Before we go into the question of who is Guru, let's understand some fundamental facts about life. Life is a journey. And in this way, we can live this journey incompletely, but we die in completeness. Death is complete. We can be partly present while we are living, but we can't be partly present in death. So life is a play between birth and death. And how does the form, shape of the world come about? Kit kit bid jag upje purkha, kit kit dukh binas jai. Guru Nanak Sahib is asked by the yogis, how does the world come about, Maharaj? And how does my pain go away? Maharaj says, home vich jag upji purkha. By the creation of ego, the world comes about. The realization, the movement, the life story, the journey starts with the concept of creation of ego. And how does the ego get created? At birth, we are all connected to our own source before birth. And at birth, the connection gets changed. The connection becomes more subconscious or unconscious. So the connection to life is preserved in our body and the experience of life, but it is lying in the unconscious. We are unaware. How does my breath come? How does this life form take shape. One more question which was asked by the Siddhs, yogis to Guru Sahib was, Tresut angul vai kaiye, teka kavanadaru. This breadth of 37 fingers, which is between our navel and head, what is the foundation of this breath? Pavan ka vasa, sun navasa, akal kala tarsoi is the answer. Pavan is the breath. It resides in the sun, the avastha, a state of mind called sun. We will discuss and explore this sun. Akal kala tarsoi. And there is a play, a kala happening in this life through this process of breath. Often in today's world, there is a lot of emphasis on pranayam. There's a lot of emphasis on yogic practices. And very often it is said that pran defines everything. In the experience of Guru and what I also have understood, breath is one aspect. The concept of samadhi, which is maybe a little premature, but I mention it here. The concept of samadhi has three elements: the merging of the surt, shabad and swas. What they in Hinduism they called nirvikalp samadhi. Now the breath energy and thought energy, thought is the surt, merges with the shabad. Shabad is the creation, the force of creation, whom we call God, whom we call Guru. And Guru Sahib has given us importance to breath, but he has huge emphasis on Shabad. And he says it is the mind which gets prepared by the Shabad. And breath may be one element, but we prepare the mind through Shabad. In the Japji, in the last paudi, the shlok, he says that Kadiye Shabad Sachi Taksal. That the mind is prepared, chiseled through the experience of Shabad. Shabad is the taksal, is the center of spiritual wealth. That wealth which cannot be taken away from us. Sadhu, Sant, Guru lays emphasis on those aspects of life which are not transient and temporary, which are not fleeting, which are not changing. So you will often find the word sada in the dialogue, in the bani, in the discussion. Even about happiness, Guru says that which is sada, forever. Nanak bhagta sada vigas. Suniye dukh paap ka nas. That happiness which cannot be taken away from me. Guru talks about that happiness. The world gives us happiness, gives us transient happiness. It comes, it goes. That is the big difference. So Guru does not give so much emphasis to the worldly happiness. He says you can enjoy it, but know it that it is temporary. Know that this sukh will be followed by dukh. In fact, so much is the intensity of dukh in life that Gautam Buddha, as the foundation stone of Buddhism, says life is dukh. He doesn't say it is sukh. And he says the dukh is because of trishna, desire. So let's go back to the time of birth. When a human being's ego is formed, we find life in our body. So we have some elements in the body. One is the man, the other is the physical body. And somewhere out there, we are told there is a soul, spirit, Atma, somewhere. We are not aware, but let's assume it's there. So Maharaj says that in this ego world, when we have taken birth, we have separated to some extent from our Creator. There is a difference now between the Creator and me. They are two, not one. So the Ik Omkar has become two. This two is Sukh Dukh, good bad, right wrong, high low, rich poor. These are the living journey of life has duality inbuilt into it. It is not permanent in its own way. So whenever we find happiness in this world, we will also find there is sadness, there is unhappiness. But then we are seeking happiness. There lies the dichotomy, because this happiness which we are seeking is not forever. And in fact, when we seek happiness, pain comes with it. Sorrow comes with happiness. In Greek mythology, they say that happiness and sorrow were two friends, and they had a big fight. So God tied their feet together. Whenever you have happiness with you, sorrow is not far away. And when you have sorrow with you, happiness is not far away. What governs our play of happiness and unhappiness is also under hukum. There are some rules, laws. These are our own creation. These are the seeds we have sown. Whatever we do, we encounter happiness and sorrow according to that. So, we are seeking happiness, and we primarily dominate life with unhappiness. Only when we are relaxed, when we are without desire, when we are more centered, we find that life is more pleasant. There's more peace of mind. But we have certain concepts in the ego world, in the I world. We are running a race in the I world. We are running a race of happiness. So there is a play between me and the other, my neighbor, my friend, my competitor. There is a competition in this world. So this competition is for happiness. Whoever wins will be happier. So happiness is divided. Who loses is unhappy. So this is not a very pleasant sphere of happiness. If I am happy, then somebody else has to be unhappy. So my happiness is built on someone else's foundation of unhappiness. Not a very pleasant sphere. But Guru Amar Das in the Bani of Anand explains that we are all seeking Amrit, happiness which is forever. So the hindrance to this happiness, first of all, is death. We are not forever. And the second thing is that this world we live in is a constantly changing world. So if I am happy today, this happiness is built on certain conditions. It could be a relationship, it could be a status, it could be my mind state, it could be an object, it could be an occasion, anything. So my happiness has a reason, and that reason is now not a permanent reason. It is a changing reason, because all world is changing. So my happiness is that way very insecure, very unstable, very fleeting. Heraclitus says man can never enter the same river twice. It's a changing world. We can't enter the same river, same world. So for us, this search of happiness is the entire race of life. We are searching for it and we may get some fleeting glimpses. And in this play, who is seeking? We have this body, we have our mind. There's a play between the body, mind, and the soul, in assuming there is a spirit. Spirit being the foundation which we never see, so let's put it aside for the minute. It's our mind and our body at play. Body also has some pleasure centers built into it. And these pleasure centers are built naturally into life. To sustain life. There is nothing personal about it. Whatever life is happening has to have a reason, and to sustain life there has to be certain balances created, and in that sex is one center which is pleasurable, and the reason is because life has to sustain itself. Now this I is created. I am. How much control do I have over the I? These two aspects of the I, the man and the body. I have relatively better control over the body, and relatively less control over the man. And we do not have any control over the journey, in the sense that we cannot terminate the journey. We can terminate the body consciously, that is suicidal. We can commit suicide. We can end the relationship between this body and the man. That control we have, that choice we have. The repercussions are ours to live. But we cannot control the culmination of this journey of the mind. If the body goes away, the mind sustains and its journey goes on. Guru says, इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई, तन छूटे मन कहाँ समाई. Search this mind. When the body goes away, where does the mind go? So we are in this journey of life, which may, if you believe in reincarnation, it may span over many incarnations. Or if you don't believe in it, one life has also many incarnations built into it. So change is the predominant aspect of this man. And we do not have a control over ending the cycle of the man, of the mind. The mind is always moving in desires. And every incomplete desire is another uneasiness of life. Those things which I want and I get, I throw them away. And I ask for more and more and more. Some things I never get. I keep asking and I don't get, for whatever reason, and they become my baggage. So the mind has incomplete baggages built into it. It has certain pain centers with it, which are created in this journey. We like to hold on to our pain. We forget our joys. So the pain is definitely more deeply ingrained into our man than happiness is. So the pain centers are with us also. This is a baggage which we carry. The mind in its incompleteness is on a journey. But we don't know where we are going. We know we are seeking happiness. Judo Krishnamurti says so. He says we are seeking happiness forever. Guru Sahib says, Surnar Munjan Amrit Khoj De. Amrit is happiness beyond death, beyond change, beyond time, forever. Then how we will find this happiness in this world, which is constantly changing? Sukh ko mange sabko, dukh na mange koi. Sukhe ko dukh agla, manmukh booj na hoy. Everybody asks for happiness. Nobody asks for sorrow. But when someone is happy, unhappiness is not far away. Sukhe ko dukh agla. To realize this, one has to know and be more aware of the mind. What is the mind? In this journey of trying to understand Guru, we will need to explore the mind more deeply, to understand the psychology of the man, the spiritual psychology, the culmination of the seeking which we have. Because we are seeking, the body has an end, but how does the mind come to rest? That's the bigger question. Because if the mind is going to be traversing for its yearning for happiness through lifetimes, and it is always going to traverse the changing mind, then it will never have stable happiness ever in its life. No matter how many lifetimes go away, if the field is a football field and we are trying to play cricket, it's not going to work. We are seeking this happiness, which is permanent, in a game field which is transient, which is changing and temporary, which is like a temporary hotel stay, which we want to be permanent with us. A 5-star hotel and the rooftop rooms, presidential suites, booked forever. But the bill comes every day. In this world, there's nothing free. And we want this presidential suite. So we will be thrown out sooner or later. So we are seeking something which doesn't belong there. I have earlier talked about this Sufi Sant Rabia al-Basra from Iraq, who talks about this needle which is lost outside, and she tells her friends to find it. And when they can't find it, they ask her where it is exactly fallen, and she says it's inside the house. And then they laugh and get angry with her. But she says this is what we do with life. We seek happiness outside because that's where the movement is, the noise is. That's where the halchal is happening. But it doesn't belong there. That happiness which we are seeking, the quality of happiness which we are seeking, the Sada word, forever, doesn't exist in this world. We can get temporary happiness. It's perfectly fine to enjoy it and have the vision that this happiness is fleeting, is not permanent. In fact, Kabir says that I don't seek this happiness. That after this happiness, pain comes, so I don't seek this happiness. I don't want this happiness. And then you will see, if you go into the personal lives of these Bhagats, Bhagat Ravdas, Bhagat Kabir, even the Gurus, you will find a lot of pain in the physical plane. Then how does this work? Bhagat Kabir had a very difficult life in his economy in running the house. Bhagat Ravdas was killed. Guru Arjan Sahib Maharaj, who created the Guru Granth, who compiled the Guru Granth, had to sit on a burning tawa. This is so much more now a confusing element, because we are talking about the gurus, we are talking about sants who are dealing in the product of happiness. But in their physical lives, they are not reflecting that. You cannot see that. So how does this happen? What is happening here? This couplet I initially spoke about from the Zafarnama, in the last lines which I said, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Maharaj says, na sazo, na bazo, na fauzo, na farsh. खुदावंद बख्शन दे ए ऐश अर्श. No happiness of mine is dependent on the physical. My source of happiness is Khuda, is the creator. And in one more place in the Zafarnama, he tells Aurangzeb, Bibi gardish hai bewafai zama, ke barhar baguzard makino maka. See, the life is very deceitful. You are going to be cheated. Because in life, with time, those who live in the house and the house are all going to go away. This is not a permanent stay. This is a temporary resort. Painful for some, joyous for someone else. But the net result is death for everyone. Whether young, old, rich, poor. Bhagat Kabir, when they meditate, these sons, gurus, they keep death in front of them. And Kabir in one of his Shabad says, Aisa e sansar pe khana rehen na ko upaiye re. Sude sude reg chalo tum, natar ko takka de baiye re. Baade, boodhe, tarune, daiya, sab hun jam le jaiye re. Maharaj says that here, look at life. Nobody is going to be forever here. Now this reality we know intellectually, but it doesn't visit us in our mind. And if it does, we become sad because we don't have an answer to death. We don't have an answer to my seeking permanent happiness. We don't have an answer to my finding a solution to life which is stable, where I'm more centered, I'm more relaxed, I'm less confused, less stressed. Where is that realm of mind? And how do I get there? For all this, we need to understand Guru. But one more aspect of life before we go into Guru. We live the ego world. And the ego world is not a permanent experience. So the unconscious creator sitting within our man is part of our own mind. That aspect of the man is unchanging. It doesn't change at all. And that is the man which carries this solution which we are seeking, carries this answer to the question which we are finding. That is the man which talks about happiness forever. It is Anand. In Hindu mythology, there are these three words they use: Sat, Chit and Anand. That which is truth is the Man, Chit, and that is Anand. So the reality of life is actually Anand. And I am seeking happiness in a sphere where unhappiness comes to me. Here lies the huge confusion. The problem, the barrier, the curtain is the ego. So when Guru Nanak Sahib talks about life, he talks about the creator as such, truth, meaning that aspect of life which never changes. The foundation of my man, which has no change in it, which is stable forever, and which is full of Anand. Therefore, meeting the Guru has this as one of its gifts, which is Anand, unconditional happiness. Now, if I am able to find what I am seeking, if I am able to get what I am seeking as a permanent state of my life, then it stops my wandering. I'm looking for something and I find it. Then I stop looking for it because I found it. So when we meet Guru, when we meet Anand with Guru, because this meeting between me and my Guru culminates in Anand. That's one of the gifts of this meeting. Anand is unconditional happiness. Meaning what? Meaning this happiness cannot be taken away from us. This is the state of being. It's a state of my mind, which I understood once, which I have lived once. Then it cannot be taken away from me. I can, as a choice, move between the ego mind and this unconscious Anand mind. That is my choice. But that mind's door will never close once it opens. Otherwise, it's not Anand. And so, my wandering goes away. My seeking goes away. So these are the two natures of Guru. When we meet the Guru, we meet our Anand. Satgur ke janm mein gaman mitaya. When we meet the Guru, we get a new birth. We get this physical birth which we have, which is temporary, which is transient. We get this ego birth in our mind, which is also transient. So the ego has two culminations in it. The ego mind, the ego world, the ego birth can go in two ways. One is the Anand and other is the wandering. If we have not found Anand, we keep wandering. Where am I going to go after death? It's a big question. If we have found Anand, we know where we are going. If we have not found Anand, then we know we are going to wander. We will be wandering, seeking this happiness, which is supposedly somewhere out there, and which is also has a deep link with my Atma, with my soul. So, the meeting of this man with me happens with certain aspects built into it. When Guru talks about this meeting, he says, Satyara is that state of mind. Kiv satyara hoiye. Kiv kude tutte pal. And there is a wall between the Satyara state and me. Kud di pal. What is this, Maharaj? What is this wall? This is the ego wall. If there is no ego, there will be no creation. There will be no world. And I don't have any control over culminating this journey, finishing this journey. It cannot happen. I have to either wander or the other ending to this journey is Anand. Because I am seeking Anand. That's my source mind, so to say. That's where I've come from. Like a river flows into the ocean. And it merges into the ocean. And it expands in this mergence. It becomes the ocean. It is no longer moving. It is no longer seeking. But it has become stable. And it has lost its identity. Such is the ego mind. When it loses its identity with its creator, then it finds stability and Anand forever. So Guru says that this state of mind, which we are living, the ego mind, is the painful state of mind. This ego mind has sorrow and pain built into it. Gautam Buddha says that. The Guru says that. Then how do I transcend the ego is the big question. Because if I don't transcend, or if I don't have the ability to give up my ego, then I can't understand what is beyond my ego. My ego is like a boat I'm traveling in, crossing a river. I get into my ego and I leave the ego across the river. But how do I leave the ego? Krishnamurti asks this question. He says, if there is no me, then who? Then what is there? A very big question. If there is no I, what is there? And how do I leave the I? The only feet I have in this life is I. I am my identity, my conditioned mind, my learning, my environment, what I have absorbed, what I have learned. This is all I have. If I leave this, what do I have? Henry David Thoreau is a big writer. The book of his called The Walden Pond. Now, I'm giving you an example of dropping the ego. Thoreau went and lived in a pond called the Walden Pond for some years, I think 2 years. Lived a very basic life alone, grew his own vegetables, dropped out of life, so to say. Like we have our ego, and I drop out of the ego. I drop out of this role as a son, husband, father. These are all roles we are playing, as a business person, as a professor, as whatever roles we have. I just drop out of it, because that's the ego. So he lives out of this ego and drops into this Walden Pond. And he writes his experiences in the Walden Pond, a small booklet. And he says it was a pleasurable experience. When I stopped seeking, I relaxed and I rested. I did what chores I had to do to survive. But I was not yearning for something. There were no targets. There were no pressures. There was nothing I was forced to do. And in every day, he used to write this small note about what he was feeling and how his mind state was. So the stresses of life are built into this ego, partly from our own creation, partly from our environment. And they are dictated by a huge word called karam. Karam in Sanskrit means what we have done. And karam in Persian means Gur Prasad, the gift of the Guru. So we've understood that journey of the ego is transient. It is changing, constantly changing from one to the other. And in that change, it is full of tension, stress. And the more we desire, the more stressful we are. And that we are seeking happiness forever. And there is no forever in this ego world. It's always changing. Even for those who we called our gurus, there is immense pain in the physical. Immense pain. But yet they don't seem too flustered. They don't seem shattered. They don't seem like everything is gone. Because their life foundation is not this ego world. They have found another foundation of life. Their man is not this moving mind. Chalte ho man rakhe, amrit chakhe. He says, drop the moving mind and you will find amrit and anand within you. So they have a new foundation of life. Na sazo, na bazo, na fozo, na farsh. Khudawand bakshande uesh arsh. The Zafarnama was written by Guru Gobind Singh Sahib at a time when everything was lost. Army, children, family was shattered. Structure was gone. Place was gone. There was nothing. He says, my happiness is not deterred. It is not taken away. It's not been taken away. It's not gone. My source of happiness was not these things. I was living them. He says, he was living them, but that was not the source of his happiness. There was something far more powerful as a joy, which is besides us, with us, which is far more real than this happiness which we live. We find relationships transient. We find meetings, separation. We find joy and sadness. We find gain and loss. Everything comes together in this moving world. And in the end, all that we have worked for will be flattened, so to say, by death. Whether we are rich, poor, young, old, everything will be gone. And we have no idea what's on the other side. So Guru Amar Das wrote this Bani called the Bani of Anand. And it is sung at every congregation in the end of the congregation, whether it is for death, whether it is a journey of, whether it is a marriage ceremony, whether it is a happy occasion or a sad occasion. Anand is the culmination. And if we know how to live life, then Anand will be the culmination of this life. It will be the culmination either way. Whatever happens in this journey becomes irrelevant. Bhagat Kabir says very strong words about death. And he says it's a joyful occasion for me. I'm not sad by death. In fact, there was a story in Kabir's life. It was known that everybody who was to go to heaven would die in Varanasi, Kashi. And when Kabir realized that he's going to die soon, he left Kashi and he went to Magar. The Pandits used to say that he who dies in Magar doesn't go to heaven, goes to hell, is born as an animal. But Kabir goes and dies in Magar, and his place of departure is celebrated there in Magar. And he says this Shabad, that when a Sant dies, it's not the place where he dies. It's his state of mind which matters. And here comes the role of Guru. Because I have to give up the ego, and I don't know any life other than this ego world which I'm living. So in the mythology, Guru is defined as Gu plus Ru. Gu being darkness and Ru being removal of darkness. Darkness is this ego pit which we have. Haume dirag rog hai. It's a disease, haume. If we don't know how to transcend the haume, it becomes our disease, our death knell. So, Guru removes this ignorance of life. But on what condition? And how does the role of Guru become relevant? How does my meeting with Guru happen? Where is the Guru? How do I go and find this Guru? Is a physical Guru must for understanding spiritual life? What should I know about the person to be able to decide if this is the Guru or not? These are the deeper questions of life. What is the role of the Guru? Pure gurte naam paya jaye. Guru gives us a life beyond the ego. We don't have any way beyond the ego. The only way is Naam, and that door is opened by the Guru. In the Western world, they talk about the Trikuti, third eye. So I am trying to explain this in the spiritual psychology. Trikuti is the third eye, the place where all the senses world can culminate. In a dhyan, we can culminate our life there. We can go up to the Trikuti. We can be, in that sense, relaxed when all our desires are taken inwards, when we go inward. So let me explain it in this way. Moond liye darwaze, baaj ye le anhad baaje. When I have shut my doors to the outside world and gone inwards. To go inward, I cross the barrier of thought, the thought mind. So often we feel thought is me. I am thought. But that's not true. Thought is the moving mind. And if I do train myself, I can learn how to go beyond thought. How to drop the thought. And once I do that, I have dropped the moving mind. And in the inner world, there is peace of mind. And in that way, there is joy. But the ego can't go into the Anand world because it has to drop its I to go into the Anand world. And I have no way of dropping me. I have no way how I can drop my own ego. That's the role of the Guru. Guru takes us beyond the third eye to the Dasam Dwar. And Dasam Dwar is a center of Anand. What is this center of Anand, Maharaj? This is the flow of Anand within us constantly happening. And Bhagat Kabir talks about this in one place, and he says that Asman mein aane leheng dariya, gusal kardan bood. In this Dasam Dwar, there is a river of Anand flowing. Bathe in that. To drop the ego and go into the Anand world, I need my Guru. But then we all go and sit with our Gurus, whoever it may be. And I don't think it happens that we transcend to Dasam Dwar. Why it doesn't happen? Who will drop the ego world? I will. If I am so enamored by the ego world that I don't give it up, then there is no way the Guru can connect me to beyond. So I have to be willing to give up the ego world. He says that when we meet the Guru, we give up I, we give up ourselves, our ego mind. Only then the meeting between a Sikh and a Guru can happen. Man beche Satgur ke paas. The man, the ego mind, I give it to my Guru, offer it to my Guru. Tis sevak ke karaj ras. And that sevak finds solutions to his life. Sev karat hove neh kami, tisko hot parapat swami. Without desire. When I am doing seva without desire, I drop the ego. He meets the Guru. And then this meeting between me and my Guru transacts through some currency. And it's not gold. He says even if you go with bags full of gold, you cannot get this meeting between you and the Guru. But you sell your mind, give up your ego mind, and only then you will meet your Guru. So the Guru is different from a teacher in this way. Guru takes away the impermanence of my life and makes me enter the door of a permanent happiness. Guru takes away the pain part of my life and opens Ananda to me. Guru gives me a life which is forever, where there is no death, where timelessness, Akal Murat, where life is not interrupted by death. So the journey of the man culminates in Anand, and it finds its rest when we meet the Guru. And we can meet the Guru when we give up our ego to the Guru. Man beche Satgur ke paas. And there are immense stories in the history of Sikh history of these relationships between Sikh and Guru, where the Sikh gives up his ego mind and merges with the Guru. Where Guru Amar Das, for example, became Guru Amru Nithama used to do seva of the Guru for 13 years. Give up his ego, structure of his ego, forgot his relationships, gave up his ideas of the world, even was called names by people. Amru Nithama. Amru, who has no place, became Guru because he found love with the Guru. So one of the energy centers of transcending ego, one of the reasons of transcending the ego between a Sikh and a Guru is love. In fact, the only reason. The Sikh gives up everything for the love of the Guru, and so does the Guru. Give the Sikh the gift of happiness forever, gives him Anand. कंचन स्यों पाइये नहीं तोल, मंदे राम लिया है मोल. Maharaj says, giving gold, weighing gold and giving it will not get you this meeting between Sikh and a Guru. But mande, sell your mind to the Guru. Give up the ego mind, and the Guru will open the door of happiness forever. Satgur ke janme gaman mitaya, and there the wandering ceases. The wandering of the mind ceases because it finds that Amrit which it has been seeking. If it does not find that happiness, then it will have to keep wandering, looking for that happiness. So there are only two possibilities of the mind: seeking, wanting, or finding rest in Anand. What is the form of Guru? Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj was asked by the Siddhs, Kavan Mool, Kavan Matvela, Kavan Guru, Kiska Tu Chela. What is the mool of life, fundamental energy of life? Kavan Matvela, what is this time which we live? What is it for? And who is your Guru, Guru Nanak? Pavan Aramb. From breath life gets born. Creation comes from the gases, from air, from breath. Satgur Matvela. Finding the Guru, this is the time. This is why this birth is given. To find the Guru. Satgur Matvela. Shabad Guru Surt Tunchela. Maharaj says, Shabad is my Guru, and Surt is the meeting point between me and Shabad. So if the question is asked, is physical Guru important, essential for spiritual progress? We have one example at least where there is no physical Guru, because Guru Nanak says, I have no physical Guru. My Guru is Shabad Guru. And what is Shabad, Maharaj? Shabad is the fundamental energy of creation, and it is formless and yet in form. Nirakar and Sakar. So Guru has three forms. First is the creator who has created the energy. He is the primal Guru. And from him comes the Shabad, the expression which is revealed to us. For example, the Guru Granth. So whichever religion, whichever line, whichever seeking the world may have, the breath has to meet with Shabad for the Anand to be visited. Shabad is the Guru. Without Shabad, the door will not get opened. Shabad is the method how this will happen. And Surt is the meeting with the Shabad. The Trikuti, where we can rest our mind and make it stable, ready for meeting the Guru, that is the Surt, the unmoving mind, non-moving mind, the thoughtless mind. And it meets the Guru by the Guru Prasad. the last word in the Mool Mantra. The action is of the Guru. The control to the culmination of this ego life doesn't lie with me, otherwise there will be no life. If I had the ability to terminate the mind life, then there would be no life, because this life is very painful. But this lies, the control lies with Guru Prasad. And when Guru opens that door, then we enter the realm where there is no stress, no fear, no change. There are no rules, there are no errors, there are no losses, there is no tax. And this, one of the Shabads of Bhagat Rav Das, he defines this. And then he says in this, Mehram meher na ko atkave, nobody can intervene. Nobody can stop this flow of Anand for me. No one else has control. I have this new life I have found. Ab mohe khub watan gaya pai. I have found this new life. Uha khair sada mere pai. See, the word sada comes. When a sadhu, sant, guru talks about life, he says sada. If it is not sada, he doesn't give it so much importance. It has its importance. The journey has its relevance. But it is not absolute. What Guru is seeking is absolute. इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई, तन छूटे मन कहाँ समाई, बंदे खोज दिल हर रोज, ना फिर परेशानी माए. Seek within your mind and use the Shabad as your stimulant. Shabad is the Guru. Stable mind is how you meet the Guru. The problem happens that I am not used to stable mind. I am not used to thoughtless mind. I have always desires, I have always needs, I have always wants, or I have these baggages with me about life, and I am unable to transcend them. So the Guru says that this is a rogue, this is a disease, and the solution lies in the disease itself. In one of the Shabads he says that Sant jana mil har jas gayo, कोट जन्म के दुख गवायो. Sing the kirtan, the kirti of the Creator, and crores of lifetimes pain will go away. Pain and sorrow, change will go away. So why does he say this? Because the transcendent energy is Shabad, Maharaj. This morning we meditated on this Shabad. Amrit Bani Har Har Teri. And I sing your Shabad, it's Amrit for me. I transcend life. I transcend change. I transcend death. I find Anand within me. Sun sun jiva param gat meri. And all I do is listen to this Bani, this Shabad. And I am no more, you are only. That's the culmination, the rest of life, where I give up all change, all insecurities, all losses, all pain, and I trade it for unconditional happiness and love. Guru is love. Guru is joy. Guru is Anand. Guru is stability. And Guru gives us the route beyond the Trikuti to the Dasandwar. How do I find this, Maharaj? There are possibilities that someone finds a living Guru. It's a possibility. But how do we know whether someone is really a guru or not? How will we know? Guru Sahib was roaming the mountains in Sumer, Parbat, in one of the dialogues with the yogis happened there. So they asked him this question, Kis karan greh tajye udasi? What is the reason you have left your house and come? Kis karan hai pek nivasi? Why are you wearing these clothes? What is making you wander? Kis vakhar ke tum ban ja rahe? Are you dealing in some product? You are doing some trade? Kyun kar saath langavo pare? What is the reason? Gurmukh khojat paye udasi. Guru Nanak says, I am seeking those who are seeking truth. So if we want to meet the Guru, our life journey, our life commitment, our life strength, our life focus has to be beyond death, has to be beyond the changing mind, has to be in the spirit world. Our seeking has to be intense, because this is not a mere curiosity. It's a project of lifetimes. This is not a mere hearsay. It deals in the commodity of the mind, of the source of the man. Where does the mind go when the body is not there? जब है हृदय देह न होती, मन कैठे रहता. Where does the mind go when there is no body, no space for the man? हृदय देह न होती ओदू, मन सुन रहा बैरागी. Man is in the state of sun and samadhi, where there is no thought, no breath. It's in its source mind. So how do I find the Guru? If I ask this question in earnest, that I seek the Guru, then Guru will come to my life. The Guru will come in what fashion, how? Those are individual journeys for us all. But the journey begins in the seeking. The journey begins in the asking, how kiv sachiara hoiye. The Japji, the entire foundation of the Guru Granth is this one question. And who is asking this question? That's relevant. If it is Guru asking this question, then it is not my question. Then it is not the energy center I have created. If I am asking this question, if this is my question, then my whole life is defined by this question. No matter what I am doing, what I am learning, what I am living, which family I am nurturing, what I am doing to my business, that is all one side of life. But this one question dominates every breath of my life. Kiv sachiara hoiye, kiv kude tutte paal. How does the wall of falsehood break? How do I live hukum? How do I know hukum? How do I find Anand Maharaj? Guru Amardas says that all this rests with the Guru. Satgur vich aap rakhyo. He has kept everything with the Guru. My mind's control and its journey is not with me. The ego mind is my creation, and I have to live what I will do. पुन्नी पापी आखण ना है, कर कर करना लिख ले जाओ. आपे बीज आपे ही खाओ, नानक हुक्मी आवो जाओ. Maharaj says this is not mere talk. Punni papi आखण ना है. Not mere talk, doing pun and pap, good and bad deeds. Kar kar karna likh le ja. As you are doing, so it is written in your subconscious mind. Instantly it is recorded, everything. Ape beej, ape hi khao. Your seeds you will sow. So the action world, the karma world is a trap. Every action, good or bad, is trapping me. It's not going to make me free. And I am not seeking temporary happiness. If I was seeking temporary happiness, it's no problem. We are all seeking happiness forever. We do not want happiness which is taken away from us. We want the presidential suite, booked and checked in, everything provided for, and we throw away the bills. And nobody has the right to take us out. Ape beej ape hi khao, Nanak hukmi avo jao. And in this karma world, there will be wandering, constant wandering. Because I am not seeking temporary happiness. I want sada. Guru Arjan Sahib, few days ago was the first day when the Guru Granth Sahib was installed in the sanctorium in Darbar Sahib. And one cannot fathom the kind of energy, commitment, the kind of time and structure these gurus have given to the creation of the Guru Granth. It's an immense, it's a document where there is no historical reference to any guru. No birth and death of any guru is recorded. No mother, father, son, children is written of any guru. This story is about the Creator and how to meet the Creator. How to meet the Creator forever. And Guru Arjan says, Jo sukh ko chahe sada. If you want happiness forever, Saran Ram ki le. Find Ram within your life. Find Shabad within you. How में दीर्घ रोग है, दारू भी इसमाहे. कृपा करे जे अपनी ता गुर का शब्द कमाए. नानक कहे सुनो जनो, इत संयम दुख जाए. Giving up the ego. How में दीर्घ रोग है. Ego is an immense disease. And the solution also lies with this ego. दारू भी इसमाहे. कृपा करे गुर प्रसाद. There's a story of Bhai Manj. It's a very lovely story. And how Bhai Manj became blessed by Guru Arjan in the middle of the night in the forest, when Guru Arjan was barefoot, running to him in the well. The love between the Guru and the Sikh. It's Bhai Manj. When Bhai Manj gives up his entire life for Guru Arjan. And Guru Arjan then blesses him with a new life. Guru takes away the moving mind, our foundation in this ego world from us, and gives us a new foundation of Naam. Pure Gurte Naam paya jaye. And there are no shortcuts. We can still live the ego world. There is no going away from that. But we live it. Our foundation is not the ego world. It is Naam. It is the Guru's relationship. If there is one relationship in this world which transcends death, that's the relationship between Guru and Sikh. So if we ask this question, if we seek this answer, give Satyara, how do I transcend the ego mind? He says that Kirpa kare je apni, ta gur ka shabad kamaye. Then we meet, the Shabad meets the Surt. The focused, thoughtless mind meets Shabad. And then, Nanak kahe suno jano, it sanjam dukh jaye. This is how pain goes away. The pain of life will sustain as long as we live the ego world. The ego world has some companions. Desire is one. Fear is the other, because ego knows it has to give up everything it's gaining. Every gain is a loss. Everything which we have will be gone. So fear and instability, constantly changing environment. While we live this environment which is constantly changing, can we find an environment which is never changing and which is full of joy and love? This is religion. This is dharam. This is meeting of a Sikh and a Guru. This is meeting life's pinnacle. Sun sun jiva param gat meri. So how does the meeting between Shabad and Guru, Shabad and Surat happen, Maharaj? Gaviye, suniye, man rakhiye pav. Sing the Bani. If you know the Mool Mantar, sit. I like to sit in darkness. It makes it more mystical, more enjoyable. Gaviye, suniye. So the dhyan happens. The Shabad dhyan happens when you sing and you put your senses in Shabad. Gaviye suniye, man rakhiye pav, and you have found love within your man, within yourself. Dukh par har sukh kar le jaye. And the life of pain and sorrow goes away. And you find a new home of anand, of new happiness, a new life. So if there is a physical guru or non-physical guru is the one question left. I don't think it can be defined, but Guru Nanak certainly talks about Shabad Guru, and the Guru Granth talks about Shabad Guru. So everything about this journey, the 9 gurus who came after Guru Nanak had physical guru, but Guru Nanak had only Shabad Guru, and Guru Gobind Singh Sahib also gave Shabad Guru as the Guru to his Sikhs, Guru Granth Sahib. So in this way the journey becomes complete. If you have any questions, you can write them out and we can discuss them before we culminate the session. And if you are on YouTube, you can write it out there and Kursimrat will bring them here. We end our sessions with Anand and the Bani of Anand. Shabad Guru Surt Tonchela. Mandeep, please unmute Mandeep.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, Veer Ji. Can I do Anand Sahib?
Let's wait for others to see if they have any questions. Then we will. Certainly you can. Why not? You should. Thank you, beta.
Okay.
So let's wait. If there are no questions, then you can do the Anand Sahib. I don't think there are any questions. So beta, why don't you start Anand Sahib?
राम कली मला तीजा आनंद एक ओंकार सतगुरु प्रसाद आनंद पिया मेरी माए सतगुरु मैं पाया सतगुरता पाया सहज सेती मन वजियावा जाया राग रतन परवार परिया शब्द गावन आया सब दोत गावो हरि केरा मंजनी वसाया कह नानक आनंद हुआ सतगुरु मैं पाया ए मन मेरे तू सदा रहो हर नाले हर नाल रहो तू मन मेरे दुख सब विसारना अंगीकारो करे तेरा कार्य सब सवारना सबना गला समरथ स्वामी सो क्यों मनो विसारे कह नानक मन मेरे सदा रहो हर नाले साचे साहिबा क्या नहीं कर तेरे करता तेरे सबके छह जिस दे है सो पावे सदा सिफत सलाह तेरी नाम मन वसावे नाम जिनके मन वसया वाजे शब्द कनेरे कह नानक सच्चे साहिब क्या नहीं कर तेरे साचा नाम मेरा आधारो साच नाम आधार मेरा जिन भुखा सब गवाइया कर शांत सुख मन आए वसिया जिन इच्छा सब बुझाइया सदा कुर्बान किता गुर विटो जिस दिया ए वडियाइया कह नानक सुनो संतो सबत तरो प्यारो साचा नाम मेरा आधारो वाजे पंच सबत कर सभा के शब्द वाजे कला जित कर तारिया पंच दूत तुद वस कीते काल कंटक मारिया कर करम पाया तुझ जिनको से नाम हर के लागे कह नानक तैस खोआ तितकर अनहद पारे अनंत सुनो वट पागियो सगल मनोरथ पूरे पार ब्रह्म प्रपाया उतरे सगल विसूरे दुख रोग संताप उतरे सुनी सच्ची बानी संत साजन पे सर से पूरे गुरते जाने सुनते पुनीत कहते पवित्र सतगुरु रहा पर पूरे बिनवंत नानक गुरु चरण लागे वाजे अनहद तूरे सलोक पवन गुरु पानी पिता माता तरत महत दिव्य सरा दोई दाई दाया खेल सकल जगत चंगियाइया बुराइयां वाचे तर मधुर कर्मे आपो आपनी के नेड़े के दूर जिनी नाम ते आया के मसकत काल नानक ते मुख उजले खेती छुट्टी नाल जिनी नाम ते आया गे मसकत काल नानक ते मुख उजले खेती छुट्टी नाल वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ, ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸ਼ਾਬਾਸ਼।
थैंक यू वीर जी।
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਬੇਟਾ।